guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if you are in the Southern District of New York, there are so many legal updates coming. Okay, what's first? Jay-Z is still going up with Tony Busby. He has amended his complaint. Now, whether or not that will hurt or help his case against Tony Busby, we shall see. Because Tony thought this was going to be litigated in Texas. Then it bounced on up to Alabama, Tennessee, one of those. I don't know that part of America, right? I stay away from sundown towns. And then the judge said, nah, we're going to bounce this back up to Southern District of New York. Alex Sparrow, not Diddy, Jay-Z's attorney was like, bet, because I run Southern District of New York, except for Quinn Emanuel, who was Alex Sparrow's law firm, had just got hit with a staggering $3 million sanction for being dishonest and running cons and woefully misleading the court, witnesses, and everybody else. It sounds a lot like what might be what people have accused Jay-Z of doing. Now, we'll talk about that because it's more complicated. But speaking of misleading and underhanded tactics, remember the case with Fat Joe? It was litigated by Tyrone Blackburn, right? Tyrone Blackburn represents Little Rod against Diddy and Fat Joe. When that happened, I specifically remember they used Alex Sparrow's playbook. Attack, attack, attack. The only thing is they got ASAP's. So Fat Joe hired ASAP's Rocky's lawyer, Joe Tacopino. I'm just giving you all the rundown. Around that time, I do remember I distinctly felt that Diddy's team and also Fat Joe's team was trying to discredit Tyrone Blackburn. He was arrested for a felony. They said he tried to run someone over. I said, what? They threw the book at him. He even got arrested and it was all over the blogs. But you know what was so quiet on the blogs? Now he has been vindicated of all of it. And the sex trafficking case against Fat Joe seems to be moving forward. Well, the case of everything Fat Joe was accused of seems to be moving forward. And Tyrone Blackburn is now literally taunting Fat Joe and his legal team saying, what's going on? We've been asking for interviews with Southern District of New York. Again, it seems like, and again, I remember when the Diddy trial happened, they were going after lawyer after lawyer after lawyer, anybody that was representing any of the victims, which back then I was like, it is morally depraved, in my opinion, but it was a smart legal strategy. You can't stop people from suing. So who are you going to go after? You're going to go after the lawyers. That's why Jay-Z is right now in court with Tony Busby. No one really knows how it's going to turn out. Jay-Z got deep pockets and he is angry. And Tony Busby got deep pockets and he is a good old boy, a good old MAGA boy. So you know it's even irking his soul that Jay-Z would even dare raise a legal hand against him. But Jay-Z got the money to try to put him in the ground. All right. Now, what's the last update? I'm going to fill y'all in on all this, but there is so much going on. What is the last update? Remember that woman, Bonner, who testified against Diddy in the trial and said that he held her above a 17th floor balcony and dangled her, groped her, did all this stuff, then threw her into glass patio furniture. And remember how Nicole Westmoreland, right? I hope that check can buy a soul, right? She is very good at what she does. If I'm ever in court, what am I saying? I'm never going to be in court for Diddy like escapades. Never, ever, ever. So never mind, right? But if you are a monster, and that's most of the people that are defending Diddy, she did a great job of discrediting Bonner. Now, because I was in a courtroom, a lot of people didn't realize the way she discredited her was on some Matlock stuff. She's very good at cross-examination, and she's very good at planting doubt. But one of the things that did not escape my attention is there was a lot of evidence, text messages from Cassie, Rob Holiday, who was Diddy's producer, and her best friend trying to call her and broker a settlement. There was a lot of evidence that they discussed when they had the jury going to the back, and they were arguing about whether that evidence should be let in. Judge Summeranian did say at the end, no, we're going to exclude this evidence because there was hearsay. And also when it comes to criminal versus civil trials, this was a criminal, obviously, there's just certain levels of, hearsay and evidence that he would admit into this court. So a lot of stuff was excluded. Well, that's all changing because she is now suing Diddy, and she's not just suing Diddy for dangling her. She's suing him for SA. Ooh, and she's suing him for throwing her into the patio furniture. And she has receipts. And it looks like in the civil trial, it will be in LA. I'm going to cover it. This civil trial literally does show that a lot of evidence that was excluded, the jury wasn't allowed to hear, and that the Diddy lackeys, the Diddiots, that were lying, not they were lying. They were willfully, they were either outside playing hooky with the rest of their degenerate friends, acting like they were in the courtroom, or they just chose to glance over it. But a lot of the evidence that was excluded looks like it might come into the civil trial. Let's also not forget that the burden of proof is much lower on a civil trial than this. Now, let's start with this really quick before we get into the Jay-Z, Tyrone Blackburn, Fat Joe thing, right? The Fat Joe case, I will definitely be covering. That's a Fat Joe don't settle because judging by his rap lyrics, didn't the Supreme Court says you can use rap lyrics as evidence? I'm not even joking. Judging by the rap lyrics, judging by everything that's going on, and judging by the way that, how do you say Gordo Jose, right? Isn't that how you say fat? Gordo Jose de Gordo has been going. I don't know. They also have a 19-minute tape, Fat Joe. This is a lawsuit Tyrone Blackburn filed against them, where they are talking about pounding out Tyrone Blackburn's client. Now, I know what you're saying. If this was a Diddy trial, pounding out could mean anything, but I'm pretty sure with the terror squad, it meant, putting boot to concrete to your face in the middle. Anyway, let's get into the Bonner thing first, okay? So Diddy's team is opposing this because it's scheduled for May in 2027. And Diddy's team's like, wait, first of all, we're ready for this. And I said, I hope you are, because there's 100 more lawsuits coming, like the mentors to snatch a soul. But they're like, but there's one small complication. I'm reading the things. I'm like, what? Diddy's also going to be getting out in April. So, and I said, so what? What? Stay ready. Don't have to get ready, right? And now, do I think this case is going to make it to court? No, I think Diddy's going to settle with this girl. But then again, maybe not. Because Diddy has been spending a bag to try to get, pardoned. He's been trying to get his charges overturned. He's been spending a bag. But if he was smart and if he needs to rebuild, he will settle with this woman. You remember Bonner. But I don't think that's Diddy's thing. See, Diddy is still mad. He's still punching the walls. I think he's going to want to fight this tooth and nail. So other people, right? So other people that are going to sue him, if they see him settle with her, right? They will also be like, let's get on this. Let's also not forget California's look back window was extended to 2028. So if you or anybody you know has been a victim of Diddy, I don't know, call Tyrone Blackburn. All that stuff about him not practicing law anymore, him being disbarred, him being this, him being that, it looks like it was all cap and he was completely vindicated. And from the beginning, I do remember him saying that didn't happen. I think TMZ interviewed or something where he was like, this is all lies, right? Now, at that time, I know everybody says it's all lies, but it looks like all charges were actually dismissed. So when it comes to Bonner, she says she has messages, says she has evidence, she says she has proof. On top of that, there are contemporaneous messages between KK and Cassie talking about what happened. And KK, at that point, she was Diddy's assistant in the middle of it, was making excuses and basically also admitted in text messages. Again, it was it was a lot. It was it was shocking. And again, a lot of people just think that Diddy's case and the reason why it's so returned is because, oh, y'all just wanted to blah, blah, blah. No, the people that actually know him, not the people that lick his boots, not the people that depend on his PR team for ad dollars, not the people, right? Not the people that just want to live out their 60-year-old, what is it, how old, high school, college fantasies of being invited to a Diddy party, even though their bank account declines, their face card declines, their height declines, they can never be invited. Not those groupies. And by groupies, I'm not talking about women, I'm talking about the men that were groupies for Diddy, right? Shout out to who is it? Hold on. And you know what? Shout out to Ticket TV. He did really, really good coverage of the Diddy trial, but he also did really, really good coverage of the psyche of the men that covered Diddy's trial. And from a man's point of view, I think he did really, really good.